Make things as simple as possible, but no simpler. Albert Einstein. Hello, love. My name is Jennifer Laurel Keller, and this is Open Studio, my show where I help you gain more creative confidence and live a more artistic life. I'm an artist and instructor living in Sacramento, California. Together at my studio and on creative field trips, we'll explore inspiration, art supplies, techniques, and business secrets so that you can bring more joy and success into your creative practice. Spring is in the air and it's time to do a little spring cleaning. And as you can see right now, it's a bit messy. There are some things that don't have homes, which I cannot stand. So I'm going to organize it as well as bring a little more personality in. So here are a few questions that you can ask yourself, and if you answer yes to many of these questions, it's likely that you need to declutter. Do you have to move things out of the way to access your art supplies? Does it take you more than 5 minutes to set up your art making space and begin a project? Do you have to fish around to find supplies that are in proper working order? Do you trip over or bump into things in your space? Do you ever go to the art supply store and buy something only to realize later that you already owned it? Are there old projects in the way of starting new projects? Do you hold on to materials that you don't use just because you spent money on them or because somebody else gave them to you? Is your art studio spilling over into other areas of your house? And do you feel ashamed of your space, or does it cause arguments with your family or roommates? If you answered yes to several of these questions, it might be time to have a little declutter sesh. I gotta tell you, it felt so good to do this. Working in my studio is a breeze now, and I feel light and airy. It took a moderate amount of work, but it's so very satisfying. So I invite you to come along on my studio declutter to get some inspiration and a few tips on how you can make your studio more functional. I'm going to break this down into steps because it makes the task less daunting and more actionable. Okay, so let's begin. Step 1 is to have a plan. I sketched out this little diagram of some shelving that I'll set up later in this video. I took some measurements and roughly drew in my supplies that I want to have handy at all times. And this includes office supplies, art papers, pens, pencils, brushes, palettes, journals, and some canvas. This is everything that I want to access very easily. Step 2 is clear out the space. This will give you a clean slate, and luckily I have a magic studio that moves everything for me. It's really awesome. Just kidding. But since having done the first wave of decluttering in October, this was way more easy to move everything out than it was back then. And if you want to check out that video, I'll link it up down below on YouTube and on my website. You can find it over in my blog. Okay. Step 3 is clean up. This is the best opportunity you will have for a long while to give your space a thorough wipe down. So really get in there and make it sparkle. All right, here is the mostly clean room, minus my tripod. This wall is empty, minus all the little paint drips and nail holes in the wall. I still have my little file cabinet, printer, and the internet modem, because those are gonna fit under the shelf. And then over here I have empty cabinets. Pretty sweet. Step 4, rearrange your furniture. If you have a plan like I talked about in step 1, this will be much easier. In my case, I had some IKEA shelves that I used in the past, but I wanted shorter shelves so that I'd have more of a ledge for display, and I also wanted some negative space on the wall. So I cut the shelves down. This is something I felt confident doing because I'd used the saw before, and the shelves have a really simple design. But if you don't feel confident moving or working on your furniture, get some help, because safety is no accident. Step 5, group like items. Here you want to group together your supplies and artwork into categories. This will help you identify where you have duplicates and where you have holes in your stock. Step 6, Let go of unessentials. This is decision time. Are you going to keep it, store it, sell it, donate it, or throw it away? For this step, I went through and physically held and sorted every item in my studio. And this can be tough for some, I get it, even for me. And I have a lot of practice decluttering. I'm almost at the point where I can say I'm a minimalist in the rest of my house, at least in comparison to my life a year ago when I was more of a maximalist. I still own plenty of things, but I'm very mindful of what comes in and what goes out. And I'm ruthless with my decision making. Sometimes it feels extreme, but I can really say that nothing stands out that I feel regret for getting rid of. And if you're not sure, you can always store some things to see if you'll miss them. And then the next time around, you can go deeper and get rid of anything you don't miss. And I'm not asking you to deprive yourself and become a hardcore minimalist. We just want to clear out what we're not currently using so we can focus on what we want to do. If you keep quality over quantity and your items are specific to the series you're working on, your studio is going to feel really upscale and luxurious because everything will work for you. There's so much evidence out there that when we clear away clutter, we get more done and we feel so much better. Artists are notorious hoarders, but unless you're currently working with a lot of weird materials, it's time to let some things go or store them. You'll notice in this video that none of my collage papers or found objects make an appearance because they're currently stored under my bed. And that's because I'm working only in acrylic right now. I didn't want to let go of my mixed media supplies because I spent a lot of time putting that collection together, but also I see myself using them again in the future. Step number 7. Organize and decorate. For this step, I shopped my house for some stylish storage and decor. I brought in some pretty containers like baskets and vases instead of the old cardboard boxes and yogurt containers that I used to use. I want my space to be beautiful as well as functional. I also brought in some natural elements like flowers and houseplants to give the space more life. And our final step, number 8, is out with the old. Sell, donate, recycle, gift, or trash the items that you decided not to keep. Try not to have them sit around in a pile in another room or in the trunk of your car for too long. We want to be done with these items and not look back. So this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to split it up between 2 videos. And in next week's video, I'm going to give you a full studio tour. So if you want to catch the big reveal, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, or better yet, go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter. When you do that, you'll also get a free guide on how to be a successful artist, as well as fun emails with more freebies like new episodes of Open Studio. So I hope this inspired you to think about your space and whether it's ready for a good decluttering. This process does take a little bit of time and effort, but it is so worth it. And if you are just starting out and you're not sure where to begin, I recommend starting with the basics. It's really easy to get carried away with big canvases and tons of brushes and all the things, but they do take up a lot of space, so I recommend setting up for making easy studies, nothing too big. And if you'd like some help with learning the basics, I'm going to leave more information about my color mixing class for you right now. All right, have a wonderful day. Much love. Art is magic. It reveals to us the emotions and beauty in our surroundings and within our souls. It can inspire and relax us, make us laugh and cry, and is worth 1,000 words. Every artist wants to capture the essence of the scenes in our work, but when it comes to color mixing in your art, it might seem like something's missing. Maybe you seem to be running into muddy colors, or perhaps your paintings seem to lack dimension and end up feeling flat. Or possibly you're not quite sure how to start or which paints to buy. The paint aisle at the art store is a big place, and there are so many choices which can be a little intimidating. If this sounds familiar, it's likely that you need more information and practice with color theory and mixing. And the good news is that I can help. My name is Jennifer Laurel Keller. I've worked in the arts for over 20 years as a painter, teacher, a frame designer, and I've also worked in art supply sales and art galleries. What I've noticed from talking with artists, as well as in my own career, is that things can get out of control pretty quickly when you don't know how to get the right colors. Some people think that they need to buy all of the colors because they're afraid to mix at all, and other artists try and save money, but the colors aren't very compatible and they end up wasting paint in the end. I had to learn and work on my practice to be able to mix the right colors, and I've seen countless students be able to do the same thing even when they thought they couldn't do it in the beginning. In my online class, Color Quest, I share all of my secrets to color mixing. You'll learn how to pick the right paints from the art store, save money on paint that you can mix yourself, mix vibrant colors that you can use in all genres of work, from abstract to landscapes and portraits, bring amazing light and shadow into your work, create beauty that will connect more with your audience and possibly lead to sales if that's what you want. And your painting sessions will be so much more fun because you'll be mixing colors that make more sense and that you'll be proud of. So stop guessing about color mixing and end the frustration. All you need is 4 tubes of paint, 1 brush, a palette, and some watercolor paper. The rest of the materials you probably already own. In this class, you'll get video lessons where we create studies covering the color wheel, complementary colors, analogous colors, earth tones, tinting, shading, the grayscale, hues, and how to pick your own unique palette for what you want to achieve. In the end, we make some abstract art to loosen up and play with everything you've learned. Anyone can take this class. You'll be able to follow along just like if you were right there with me, looking over my shoulder as I talk you through every decision and move I make. Plus, as a bonus, you'll get access to the Keller Collective Facebook group, where you can stay engaged and get feedback. I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk at all. So come with me on a color quest, and I promise you breakthrough after breakthrough will get you on the course for mixing color and light with more joy and ease. I'll see you there.